Welcome back to the stream, guys. We're going live. We're talking UFC Austin. They're down in Texas. Kattar versus Emmett. I mean, pretty good battle right there. Let's get right into it. First, let's say thank you to our sponsor, Tampa Bless, home of Team Do Good, TampaBless.com for more information. We got Calvin Kattar coming back again. He's ranked number 4. He's 34 years old. He's 23-5, minus 235. I got to say, he's the rightful favorite right here. He's coming off that beating of Giga Chikadze. And before that, he got beat bad by Max Holloway. What a bounce back that was for him, though. Pretty impressive, to be honest. He's going up against Josh Emmett, ranked number 7, 37 years old right now. He's 17-2, plus 190 underdog. He's on that 4-fight winning streak, beating some guys here. He beat Ige, Burgos, Masad Bektik, Michael Johnson. He's been on fire. The problem is injuries. Tom, can Josh Emmett return to his winning ways? Or does Calvin Kattar just bump up a little bit more here towards that title fight?
You know, of course Josh could. This is a tough fight. There's not... I mean, I could go either way. No question about it. First off, I want to give a quick shout to A-Town, Austin, to Rex, man. The whole Rex team out there. To my boy Rick Allen, D-Town, but still he always talks about A-Town, Austin, too, as well. So shout out to Rick Al. All right, you know, hey, Josh Emmett is no joke. He's only got 2 losses on his career. So the guy is not an easy defeat. He's tough for anybody. He hits hard. He's durable. But I think Calvin is just going to be too much. He looked great against Geek, against Chikadze. And I can't turn my head on that one. I got to go with Calvin here. You know, I was really uncertain about Calvin's future after the beating he took from Max Holloway, because it was so many punches he took. You know, his team really was a little suspect in not throwing in the towel with that amount of just multitude of hits. But you know what? I'm rolling with Calvin here. I don't know if he'll put Josh away, but I'm going to go Calvin at least by decision.
Let me see. Sounds. I'm losing you here as we go live. I cannot hear Tom. Tom, can you hear me?
I can't hear you currently.
Don't know.
Can you hear me?
I hear you now.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Okay.
What was that?
All right. We apologize about any discontinuation there.
There's a UFO, getting in our radar here.
Yeah. It's all right. Well, let's keep moving on here. I'll work through whatever's we got.
Anyway, basically, what I said was Kattar by decision.
All right. Kattar by decision. Listen, I totally agree with that situation here. I see this fight as a real problem for Emmett. At one point, though, I would have said easily Emmett could be the champ. This guy is so talented. He's got so much power. He's got a lot of skill set out there. He has a great chin. The problem's been injuries. The dude has been injury prone for a very long time. He's been fighting once a year, once every other year. I just don't see him being able to get back up to that title shot. He's just 37 in the featherweight division is very tough. I think Calvin Kattar never being KO'd just shows how good he is, how tough, how durable he is out there, and that's Josh Emmett's way to victory. He's got freakish power, very long arms. I think he's just going to be out-volumed here. I think we know Calvin Kattar can go 5 rounds. I think he's going to have quick ins and outs. He's got great boxing. He's going to be just a point fighter in here, 5-round point fighter. I think that's how I see it. Card market goes. Calvin, super rare rookie card printed in 2019. I believe only as an autograph. Really tough. If you think he can do it, this kid is super talented, super crisp boxing. Can he beat the top literally 2-3 guys is the only problem. Got to put a hold on him until he either beats Holloway or Volkanovski or somebody. It could be too late at that point, but we saw how much trouble he had against Holloway. Josh Emmett, just injury prone. Feel bad for the guy. I really do think this guy he had it all. Printed in 2018 knockout. I like him. I just don't think he's going to be a big enough star at this point in his career at 37 years old to give him the buy rating. All right, move right on. We got some welterweights going at it. We got the Dirty Bird, Tim Means, 38 years old. He's 32-12-1, won no contest. He's a plus 220 underdog here. He's on that 3-fight winning streak, beating Dalby, Perry, and Loreno Starpali. He's going up against Kevin Holland. What do they call him now? The real-life superhero? He just happens to be at the right place all the time. I believe that's his new nickname here. Loudmouth's going. Real-life superhero Holland. He's 29 years old. He's 22-7, won no contest. He's a minus 275 favorite. And his last fight was that win over Cowboy Alex Oliveira. Tom, how do you see this one going down?
It's like that movie Unbreakable, I think it was, with Bruce Willis, where he didn't realize he had a superpower until, kind of later on in his life. I'm a big Tim Means fan, man. I like Tim Means. He's a, old school fighter, always in it, just a veteran. But I don't think he's quite at the level of Kevin Holland at this moment. I think this is kind of I'm not going to say a stepping stone for Kevin Holland, but this is his second fight at this weight class since his return. So I feel like, they're getting him adjusted to it. I was surprised when I saw Tim actually as the opponent. I thought, and it's nothing against Tim. I think Tim has his place in the UFC, and he definitely puts on good fights, but I don't see him in the top 10. I thought Kevin was going to get a higher ranked opponent. I was kind of surprised at this bout. I don't see Kevin losing this fight. It's always a possibility, though. It's the UFC. But I see Kevin potentially finishing the fight by some sort of submission, if not strikes, or maybe even a decision. I just see him winning.
Right, yeah. I see him winning. The thing was, when he was going up to middleweight, he wasn't even making 185. Dude probably walks around naturally around 180. But what I really like is he knew he had holes in his game, and he really went to town working on the holes in his game. He also realized weight cutting's part of the game, and now he's at the right weight class. We know he shouldn't have been a middleweight. He was undersized, so even though he was a good middleweight. Let's not sleep on him. But when he was going up against guys like Marvin Vettori or Derek Brunson that are so big and they're such good wrestlers, he didn't have the size, the skill set, and everything to compete with them. Now, at 170, shoring up a lot of his holes, I really like this guy. I think we see a stand-up fight with Tim Means. So that plays to a big advantage for him. I think this is going to be a grudge match, though, because Dirty Bird can fight, too, man. He's got good hands, and he's a veteran in the game. But with the very improved takedown defense, I think he's going to have a pretty good speed advantage over Tim Means. I think we see the early finish in this one, too. I think Kevin Holland gets the knockout if you watch these last fights. Don't get me wrong. Tim Means could get an upset, but Holland's got a great chin. He's got super fast hands. And the way to beat Holland is heavy chain wrestling. And yes, I don't think Tim Means is going to bring that to the cage. So I think Kevin Holland's got the advantage.
I'm curious to see if Kevin decides to test out his wrestling on Tim.
He might. We know he's been practicing. We know he's been training. We know he looks good. He already made weight. That's one of the few weigh-ins I saw. I got to watch the rest of them because there's a few that I do want to see. I've just been a little bit busy. But he's a true welterweight. He's not a true middleweight. He's a true welterweight. And I think he could start throwing. He has a great guard and everything. He's not afraid to go to the ground at all either. So we really don't get to see his top game a lot, but he's very...
he knocked out Jacare from his back.
No, I know. That's where I thought we were going to see him a little bit better, but he just went up against some top-tier guys that just sat him down. Just too heavy wrestling, but then he worked on it. So give props to Holland. Now, as far as the card market goes, Dirty Bird has been around a very long time, printed in 2015. He's 38, and let's be realistic, he's still very unknown to anyone that's not a hardcore fan. You got to put an easy sell rating on this one. You got to be some clout. Kevin Holland, though, has had a few big wins, a few disappointing losses, in my opinion. But I think he's a great spec play right now. I think he's at the right weight class. He's working on the holes in his game. I think this is a buy. This is a buy with caution, though. We got to see him go up in competition a little and see how he looks. But real life superhero in the news a lot. He gets that limelight. This is the time. This is the kind of guy you want to get in your collection here.
Yeah, he's got an interesting personality too. Like he's like one of those guys that I could see his card being valued higher despite not being a champion.
Correct. Yeah, he's just in the news a lot. He does good things. He's like actually
Yeah,
he's
he
a
does.
good person. So
Plus, he's kind of fun. He's like he did that crazy match where he was basically doing wrestling. Remember that? It was like grappling, but he was trying to like do like almost like flying wrestling moves.
yeah, he's a character. Let's keep chugging along though. We got a decent amount of fights to cover here. We're getting into the middleweights here. Joaquin Buckley, 28 years old, 14-4, plus 180 underdog. He's on that 2-fight winning streak, beating my man Abdul Razak Al Hassan, who just hasn't looked that good lately, but I still like him, and Antonio Arroyo. He's going up against Albert Duraev, 33 years old, 15-3, minus 220 favorite. He's on a 10-fight winning streak, last beating Roman Kopylov. Tom, I'll take this one on advantage, and then you can get it on the second one. I think Albert here, he's just the more skilled. He has a decent advantage in the wrestling department. I think Buckley, though, is sneaky tough. He has that serious power. I honestly been going like back and forth on this one. You watch Duraev in his last fight. He ate some shots. He even took a big knockdown. But then he realized he's got to go to wrestling. His stand-up is just not at the same level as some of these guys. I don't think he could afford to eat any of those shots from Buckley here. I'm leaning towards Albert, but I got to see the weight, the weigh-ins here. Maybe watch another fight further back or whatever, because Duraev had his hands full last time, but he pulled it out. That's the key. I think he does it against Buckley. I think Buckley's going to try to finish him early. I think this guy's going to chain together the wrestling and hold him off, and we're going to see a decision victory here. Tom, how do you see this one playing out?
Yeah, I basically see it very similarly to what you just said. The only thing is, I'm going to go with against what I would probably say if I was to just put this on paper. I think Buckley might come out on the losing end, but I'm not going with what's on paper right now. I'm going with hopefully some type of highlight reel, and Buckley puts dude to sleep. Maybe second round, possibly first round.
Yeah, I think Buckley really's got to lay it on him in the first round, because once Duraev gets comfortable wrestling, it's going to be much harder. We saw with a few of these guys, they come out so explosive, they can get under them and really give them problems. And I think Duraev's one of the guys you can give problems. He's not such a veteran in the UFC. Once he got one fight under his belt, I mean, he's definitely got a lot of fights under his belt, but not a ton of high competition. He's good. I'm taking him to win, but I could totally see Buckley getting the knockout here in the first round. I'm waiting on both of these men here. I want to see how this fight plays out for their cards. Buckley, you know, he's going to be a little bit harder to grab his good cards. He was printed in that first year of Prism. There's still a lot of sealed product of that. People don't want to open it just because that's the debut edition of Prism to the sport. All right, but let's move right on here. We got lightweights. I know guys are excited for Damir Ismagulov coming back. 31 years old, 23-1, minus 155 favorite here. And he last beat Rafael Ives and Thiago Moises. Good note, since entering the UFC, he's only had decision wins here. He hasn't had one finish. It's kind of a big deal. You get into the UFC, we talk about it all the time, the competition goes up. It's not that easy to finish these guys. And he has not done so. You go check his record now. Decision. He's going up against Garam Kudaledze, age 30, 12-2, plus 135 underdog. And he's coming off that split decision win over Matus Gamrot in his UFC debut. What a debut to have. Go back and watch that fight. Pretty incredible that he gets the win in that one. And Gamrot showed he is truly a stud. So, Tom, how do you got this one playing out? This is a tough one.
What's the line on this thing?
Minus 155 for Damir Ismagulov. and Kudzaladze.
Yeah, this could change.
I don't know if it's going to change. I think people like Demir.
It's close right now.
Yeah, it's
It's
close. It's
close.
close.
Yeah, it's a toss up for me here. Both these guys are tough. I almost feel like it could turn into just a wrestling match.
It could. It
Um,
could.
to turn into very heavy grappling
Both these guys got
type.
great hands too, though.
Yeah. Uh, I'm up. I've been going back and forth a little bit on this one, but you know what? I got to roll with Ismagulov. He's kind of from the Lord of the Rings style, just like the other Zumagulov. Ismagulov, also Lord of the Rings style. But I'm going with Demir, man. I got to go with the Russian here.
All right. Well, this is going to be my first underdog
And I'm
pick.
gonna go by decision. Big surprise.
Yeah. Nah, this is my first underdog pick on this card here. Even though I could switch to Buckley after I see those weigh-ins. I'm not 100% sold on that one. But I'm going Kudzaladze. I think Demir, he's just going to struggle with Garam's strength, his power. Demir struggles with that power and speed. If Alves doesn't go for the guillotine so fast, I think we would have seen an early finish in the first round in his last fight. He literally gassed after holding on to that guillotine, and that was it for him. He had no comeback. I think Garam, though, is a little bit more special. Kid's already been tested in the UFC here. First fight, Matus Kamrat. So I don't think Garam gasses. He looks to have a great tank. I think he's fine if it goes to the ground. He's a Japanese jiu-jitsu black belt. He has over 600 wrestling matches under his belt also. I'm smelling the upset here. I think Garam gets the finish early. He's got sick hands. The dude is a Muay Thai master also. He's just so
He's
talented
also
all
from
around.
that whole Georgian contingent.
Right,
Who
he's just
puts out
talented
some great
everywhere though. Like I
fighters.
said, jiu-jitsu black belt, 600 wrestling matches, and he's a Muay Thai fighter.
I do have to say though, Guram, if I'm even saying it right, I think he's like 30 years old. He almost looks like he could potentially be 60.
Some of these guys might be lying. We don't always know the. Some of them could with these guys. Who knows? But I agree. But he is in shape. Dude
Oh
is
yeah, he's like a
ripped.
60-year-old face, but a ripped body.
Ripped. He is in great shape. I think he's just got too many advantage here. I'm taking the upset here. That's my pick for this one. I think Demir has showed
And it's not a steep upset. I mean, you're talking minus 125. I mean, this is it's the upset.
155. 155.
Oh,
That's
155. Okay, yeah,
it's
it's
still an
not crazy,
upset.
but it is still an upset for sure.
Yeah. For those, I'm gonna just tell you, I don't know on the card market here. If you think Demir Zlagulov can climb the lightweight ladder, I think he's a spec buy. I don't think he can though. Personally, I got to sell on him, and Garam's not printed, so we got some time on him. That's my. To me, Zlagulov just hasn't looked impressive. I mean, he's getting wins, but he's not looking like. The lightweight division is so stacked. What's he going to do when he actually does move up to some of these bigger, better guys? I just don't see it happening. All right, middleweights. This one is going to be fireworks, I can tell you right now. Julian Marquez. He brings it, man. 32 years old. He's 9-2. He's a plus 150 underdog. He's on a 2-fight winning streak also, beating Sam Alvey and Maki Pitolo. Gregory Rodriguez, on the other hand, 11-4, 30 years old, minus 170 favorite. And his last fight was that loss to Armin Petrosian in a split decision loss. Armin brought it to him, man. That was a crazy fight to watch.
Yeah.
Let's just know that Marquez has been subbing guys for his last 2 victories, which I don't know how you see this one, Tom, but I'll tell you how I see it a little bit. I'm not loving that Rodriguez is a last-minute replacement here because he's so big for a middleweight. That dude is huge. You know how big RoboCop is. That's the only thing. How much does he have to drain to make this massive weight cut? Because it's a last-minute thing. You know, we don't know how, if he was in camp, if he was ready, if he's just filling in. But I think the power's on his side. I think he's got a little bit more experience. His caliber of opponents in the UFC have been a little better. I mean, Julian had 2 submissions for his last 2 victories. Rodriguez is a legit BJJ black belt. I don't see him just getting subbed. I also, normally, his gas tank is deceivingly okay. His first fight looked gas, but he keeps coming. It's not like guys are just finishing him out there. It's deceivingly okay. It's kind of like Yoel Romero, where he always kind of looks tired, but you're not just going in there and finishing this dude, because otherwise you're going to get slapped. So I'm picking it. I think RoboCop gets his hand raised. I think he grinds out a decision, and this time he doesn't get a bad split decision call against him. Tom, how do you see it playing out?
First off, I just want to say, right now I'm hearing you like a little bit like staticky. Are you hearing me okay?
Yeah, you're fine.
All right, cool. Yo, I'm rolling RoboCop here too. I thought that was a very close fight, his last fight. That was a heck of a fight. I think, obviously Marquez could win, but I'm rolling with RoboCop here as well. He might get a finish. I mean, I would like to see him to try to push more for the finish. I felt that was his problem in the last fight. He wasn't being aggressive enough. He was kind of almost doing a little bit of a stand-up type fight when he could have, and almost like exchanging and almost like giving time for exchanges when he could have been like a little bit like attacking and then kind of chilling and allowing the other guy to attack a second and then attacking instead of just putting it on the other guy. I felt like that happened in a couple moments when I was like, dang, man, he really could have put it on him right here, and he didn't. I don't know if it was because he was gassed, though. That could have been part of it.
I'm sure
he was just shot.
He's always looks a little gassed, but like I said, he's always there. And you want to talk about a guy who's got the face that looks like he's 60? RoboCop, 30 years old, could easily be 45-year-old man. We don't know, but
no, but Gurham's got him beat, bro.
Well, guys.
But yo, the other dude in that competition who also looks older, not 60, but he just looks older than his age, and he's in his 20s, is Demolador.
Oh, he's finally growing into his age a little bit more to me.
Yeah,
a little bit. But yeah,
but
I hear you.
Gurham, I was like, dang, we could have given Gurham one of those like kind of like curvy type sticks, and he could like come out and like, kind of arrive to talk to people, except, if he takes off his robe, you realize he's jacked.
All right.
But
so's Rodriguez, super jacked.
Oh yeah, Rodriguez too.
Yeah.
I'm gonna roll Rodriguez, RoboCop. I've gained a kind of, in the beginning I thought RoboCop was getting a little lucky, and I thought, you know what, he's gonna fall off. But I've kind of started to kind of gain an appreciation for his game. He's tough, man. I hope he gets to finish and doesn't really test his stamina all the way, but he could end up getting a decision win as well.
Yeah. I mean, we got time on both these guides in the card market, so don't worry about it. Not printed. We'll probably see one of them or both of them printed pretty shortly, but we still got plenty of time. Let's go RoboCop. All right, let's keep going, though. This is the people's fight right here. Bantamweights, Adrian Yanez. Kid's 28 years old. He's 15-3. He's a -320 favorite. I'm not sure how I feel about that line, but he's on an 8-fight winning streak, beating some tough opponents. Davey Grant, Randy Costa in his last one. Going up against Tony Kelly, 35 years old. He's 8-2, plus 250 underdog. And he's on that 2-fight winning streak, beating Randy Costa in his last fight. Tom, interesting fight here, interesting line. How do you see this one playing out?
Well, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I hear you.
All right, good, because I just took off the AirPods. I'm rolling because I was having too much difficulty hearing you right there. I got to roll Yanez, man. I think he's just going to be too much. He's not ready to be like a top 5 guy, I don't believe, like maybe take on a top, one of those very, very top end dudes.
I don't think he's ready yet either.
No, but I remember there was a lot of talk of him fighting O'Malley at one point, but Sean just seems like he's really not fighting anybody. I don't know what his deal is. I haven't seen him lined up for anything, but you know what? I think Yanez is definitely beatable, but I'm going to roll with him here. I'm gonna roll with him. He might get a finish, but the safe play would probably be the decision.
All right. Yeah, this fight's interesting to me. I don't think the line's right. I really am a fan. I love Yanez. I think Kelly though has been looking super improved. He's super tough. He's durable. He's the kind of guy who can take away Yanez's best weapons and just that forward pressure in your face at all times. You know, get away from the counter strike, get away from Yanez looking clean with his crisp boxing. I could see that happening. I see the path to victory for Tony Kelly for sure. I would not be surprised if we get the crazy upset here. But I got to pick Giannis, man. I'm just a fan of him. I think he can weather the storm. He showed that he's got a pretty good chin. He knows what it takes to get these guys into the deeper rounds where his striking skills can just take over. I'm going to tell you right now, Costa wins that fight if he doesn't completely gas out. And that's why I think Tony's got a great shot. We don't see Tony gassing. He's 35. He's old, but he's not that old. He could be right in his prime, coming down to the end of your prime as a bantamweight. But he's right there. We know he's training hard now that he's with him and KGB are like training partners, you know, together, whatever. But all they do is train. I just think Giannis can figure him out. I think he's going to get a decision here because I think it's going to be a war. I think Tony Kelly's going to press him against the cage and try to do what he just did to his other opponents here. I mean, he just pummeled Randy Costa in that last fight. I'm a little worried for Giannis in this one. I'm not going to lie. Minus 320, I really don't like it as a betting perspective, though. It's just a little high. Even though I do favor Giannis, I could easily see the upset here. Now, as far as the card goes, Giannis just got inked this year, and I got the beauty of Giannis. I got a beautiful red auto and everything. He's young, he's talented. I think he's a super spec buy. Kelly not printed, not really worried about Kelly at the moment. 35, he's got a lot of climbing to go, and it's very difficult at that age. But let's get into our last fight we're going to cover. Roman Dolidze, 33 years old, 9-1, plus 190 underdog, and he last beat Loreno Starpoli. I feel like a lot of guys have just beat Starpoli. He's going up against Kyle Dawkins, 29 years old, 11-1, one no contest, minus 235 favorite, and he last beat Jamie Pickett, and his no contest was the fight before that with the headbang against, we just covered him, Kevin Holland. Tom, how do you see this one playing out?
Yeah, dude might be the new Sam Alvey, eh? Seemed like everybody coming off a W against Sam. But yeah, I got to roll. I like Dawkins brothers, man, and Kyle's been turning into kind of a bit of a mean fighter too, like and confident. Like he's out to win, man. When he talks, I thought he was being almost cocky last time, but he came out and really did it. I think he's going to win by submission here, and I think it might happen. It could happen in the first round.
Submission, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this fight should be close. I think Kyle has the advantage on the feet if you watch Dolidze in his last fights. I think both men are pretty big for this division, so I don't see that same advantage that Roman had in his last fight. Kyle is super well-rounded. I just think we're going to see a stand-up fight because both these guys like to wrestle and be on the ground, and that's when we see them not go to the ground because they don't want to test which one's better a lot of times. I think we see Kyle get the finish here. He needs that finish. I think it's going to be like a second-round KO for him. I think it's just his size. Dolidze kind of bullies guys, but he's not going to be able to bully Kyle Dawkins around there. Watch his fights. I just don't see it happening. And he's got quick, powerful hands.
He's a big dude.
Right. No, that's what I'm saying. You're not going to bully Dawkins around. He's good. He's legit. And that's where Roman wants to be, and I don't see it happening. I really see the path to victory right here for Dawkins. I think they got the line right. I think he does win a decent amount more times at 2-1 here. Both guys aren't printed. I'm really actually surprised Kyle Dawkins isn't printed, being they printed Chris Dawkins. But give him some time. I'm sure they'll have him out. If not this year, beginning of next year, and we'll see if Roman Dolidze keeps up his record.
What's Kyle ranked at right now?
No, these guys aren't ranked. No rankings for these guys.
Okay, I figured Kyle would at least be top 15 by now, but he will be shortly. Yeah, this is a disgrace they didn't print him.
Yeah. All right, guys. That's all we got for today. Hope you enjoyed the show. Sorry about any
Sorry
bad
about
connections.
the technical difficulties, y'all. We tried to hang in there.
We'll catch you guys next time.